Hello, everyone in podcast land, and welcome to the first episode of Hunt Nashville.
Yes. Welcome. This is Jared Woodard, formerly known as half of Double Trouble. Not formerly known, it would be currently known as half the lower half of Double Trouble.
I don't know, you're actually taller than me.
Okay,
so
I'm the upper half.
Yeah.
You can take the lower half if you want it.
And I'm Kevin Weaver. We are Double Trouble Hunting. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram. And yeah, we decided to venture off into the podcast land.
Yes. I listen to podcasts, land. No. I listen to podcasts quite a bit. That's most of my entertainment. I'm a general contractor during the day and a superhero at night. And so I drive around a lot, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and we've been thinking about it for a while, about maybe trying to do something, just have a conversation and post it online, because we find ourselves amusing.
I think we're hilarious. I think you're hilarious looking, but that's not going to translate to the...
Yeah, we need to put a picture up with the podcast to give people something to laugh at.
But yeah, we're just going to go into this being the first time we've ever done a podcast. We're not even going to edit. Jared came over to my house on his lunch break.
Yes, we're currently at the Weaver Lodge.
Yes, down here in College Grove, Tennessee.
Yes.
I got some deer chili. You could probably hear in the background that is cooking right now, and I'm going to have to go in and out to fix the chili.
And it
stuff.
Smells amazing. It's venison browning right now.
Yeah.
It's making my mouth water.
But, so Jared and I, we started hunting together. What, it was 99, right?
Yes.
It was that fall season. Actually, it was a turkey season.
It was turkey season.
Yeah.
We started in turkey season, yeah.
So how did you move to Tennessee? Where are you from originally?
My family is from South Mississippi, and we moved to Tennessee in 99, I think, is when we first got here. And we were brought up here. We grew up doing music, playing around, playing churches and that kind of thing as a family band. I was the drummer of the 4 musicians in my family. My mom sold merch. And my sisters wanted to be artists and writers, so my family moved up to Nashville for them to kind of pursue that. In the process, my dad started a general contracting business because that's what he grew up doing, and so that's what I've done for the past 15 years or so. My sisters...
And you ended up playing guitar for
I ended up playing guitar and traveling for a while, and then got married and had a kid and kind of slowed down on playing, but I'm still involved in the industry through friends and family, but have kind of stepped aside and taken on the suburban lifestyle. And so yeah, that's what brought us up to Tennessee. And then I didn't really start turkey hunting until I think the first year we moved up here. I had deer hunted since I was like 10 or so, but never hardcore, just enough I'd go with my grandfather and my dad here or there, and we'd go out once or twice a year. I never killed a deer.
We need to go back.
Go, step back.
Okay, step back. We're going too far.
Okay.
So
covering too much ground.
So back in 99,
right,
in the winter of 99, what happened that kind of started this whole thing? I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I needed a job.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So I'm a drummer, and I got my first gig in 99 playing for Andy Griggs, and he's a hardcore hunter and bow hunter and everything, and so I got right into bow hunting with him, and I actually rented a house from him in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and me and Jared met up because his dad is a contractor, and during the winter time for musicians is kind of a slim time when it comes to Christmas and financially and all that kind of thing.
There's no fairs going on in the winter to play.
Right. And so I needed to work, and I was always a plumber and always around construction trades. And so we built a house together. It was just like 4 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
in the middle of
spent a winter and spring building a house out.
And so around that winter, we started hunting together, and then into the spring, that first gobbler season, me and Jared were hunting a 250-acre spot, and we would hunt in the morning and just work the rest of the day, and we hunted like
almost every day.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was his property that had it all. I mean, it had hardwoods, big bottoms, and then your green field
Right.
with the barn that you could like sneak around and like glass the field and everything like that. But so the reason we came up with the name Double Trouble and go, I'm gonna check on the chili.
Yes. So yeah, that first spring we hunted together. I had only killed one turkey. Kevin, you hadn't killed any, have you?
No, I had never.
He had never killed a turkey. That first morning, or not the first morning, that first season we turkey hunted together, it was the last day of season. We had spent the entire season chasing this one gobbler, and he would roost in this big 30-acre field. And one morning he'd roost by the river, and we'd set up on the other side of the field, and he'd fly down, and we'd never get a shot. And then the next morning, we'd go set up down by the river right where he had roosted, and he'd roost at the top side of the field and never give us a shot. And so we did that for probably a week or two, at least.
Yeah.
And finally, the last morning, we were just like, you know what? Let's split up. You go set up down here. I'll set up here. So Kevin set up at the top of the field. I set up down by the river. And sure enough, right as daylight broke, through the fog, I saw a big old butterball strutting towards me and shot him. And that was only my second turkey ever. And that would have made that season. But it was only 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 maybe. So we decided, well, we're just going to hunt this out and see what happens. So we went up on the road, went to go walk up the road to glass another field that we knew where it was.
It was like the side of this hill. There was a field, and it was probably, 20 acres?
Mm-hmm.
And you could just barely see at the top. There was like 6 birds spinning around up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the road was at the bottom. And we had been hunting these birds so much, we knew that if they would see us even like from 20 acres away, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went full Apache mode and got in a ditch and belly crawled for a good 150 acres across this, around the bottom of this hill, and came up the backside of the mountain to ambush those little bastards.
That's right.
Are we gonna beat things out?
We'll see.
That was probably not good.
Ambush those little turkeys.
That's right, there you go. But it was we ran up the back of the mountain.
We literally ran up the back of the mountain, and right as we came over the top of the mountain, something had spooked them. It might have been the cows or something, and they were walking up the mountain straight at us.
That's right. Yeah.
And Kevin shot one of them, and it was amazing. So that's where Double Trouble came from.
Yeah.
As 2 birds one morning, and we've probably done that with turkeys and deer maybe another 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I would
like
say
kill 2 deer in the morning, kill 2 turkeys in the morning, and so that kind of stuck with us. So we hunted together, that's 15, 17 years ago.
That's
We've been hunting
crazy.
together for 17 years. Not as much this year. More my fault than yours.
Man, that's longer than most marriages,
That's true. That's true.
including my first.
Rim shot.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of how we met. But we've been hunting together for a long time. We've played in bands together. We've done construction together. So we've spent way too much time with each other, basically.
Mainly in the woods, though, I'll say.
Yeah, that's the more enjoyable of all the time.
Right.
Playing music is great and making money is great, but I certainly enjoy sitting in a deer stand more than I do swinging a hammer or honestly playing guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, well. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing with Double Trouble is because we're kind of shifting Double Trouble to be Hunt Nashville. Just because the tie-in with the music industry that we both have, me being a drummer and I'm still touring with different people and doing a lot of session work, I'm constantly having guys come up to me and be like, I'd love to hunt with you, let's go sometime, or just ask me a lot of questions about it. And we'll have guys that like never even held a gun that want to go out and spend some time and get into it. So we thought about maybe shifting to that being our show, is taking people that have some kind of tie-in with music and that live in Nashville, that are either not necessarily just artists, but we're talking songwriters, producers, musicians. It could be an attorney from New York, which would be funny.
Yes. Well, let's kind of expound from that. Like, kind of the whole reason we started doing Double Trouble videos. We used to carry a video camera with us everywhere we went. And so we had all these tapes it's literally tapes. That's how long we've been hunting together. Of all this video of us on hunt, mostly unsuccessful because we somehow never had a camera with us when we actually shot something. But we had all this footage, and we were like, what do we do with some of this stuff? And then we started getting a lot of questions from, like Kevin said, people who have not hunted a whole lot or weren't raised in it, you know, like I was. Kevin kind of got started a little bit later on in life than I did, but, you know, didn't grow up kind of doing that. And they had a lot of questions and didn't have a lot of places to get kind of simple answers to those questions. So we started filming what we were calling just the tips, and they're still up, and we still film some from time to time. But these videos of us going through the basics of some of the deer and turkey hunting things, stuff that, you know, if you've been hunting for a while, you take for granted, but are, you know, really basics of learning how to do this stuff as far as, you know, playing the wind and using scents. Calling turkeys is one that was fairly popular that people, you know, seem to lock on to. You know, how to, you know, where to set up a deer stand, using trail cameras, you know, stuff that, again, if you've done it for a while, you kind of take for granted, or honestly, you just forget because you've got so much information floating around in your head. So that's how we really started filming. And then after that, Kevin's currently working on chili. That's why I'm the only one controlling this conversation. So after that, we did that for a while, and then a friend of mine, Jeff Fields, approached us. He had started working for a company called Tom Bob Outdoors, based out of Pennsylvania, and they had a show on Pursuit Channel, and they were looking for footage from people to be able to put on their show. So they asked us to produce an episode for them. So we spent an entire deer season. That's all we did, is hunted for that show and put footage together for that particular episode.
Which I don't know. Everyone's filming now, and it's a lot of fun when you're just doing it for fun. But man, it's a lot of work when you have to actually produce something. You're like, I've got to get a couple kills on tape.
Yeah,
and it's harder than they make it look.
Well, and Kevin put down the bulk of the footage that season because he deer hunts a lot more than I. I tend to turkey hunt more than he does, and he tends to deer hunt way more than I do. And so he put down probably 3/4 of the footage, and well, yeah, probably himself that year. But so he spent a ton of time on the front end, and I probably spent like 60 or 80 hours editing that episode. Right. I mean, there was some late nights staying up until 3 a.m. working on those edits because we had a timeline, you know, because they had to turn it into the network. So it was an interesting experience. We did an episode and a half for them, and we'll definitely do some more stuff in the future. But it's been stuff that we've kind of slowed down on and focused a little more on our online stuff as opposed to, you know, network television.
Yeah.
Hence the podcast.
Right.
And like I said, we have a lot of just random conversations about stuff, and my memory's getting bad, so if nothing else, if no one listens to this, it's an archive for me to remember what I said.
They're like, hey, remember that idea we had about starting a show? It's called what are we calling it? Hunt Nashville.
Hunt Nashville.
That's right. I already forgot. But, I think we should talk about me a little more.
Yeah, definitely. I got no chili to cook.
Right. So I was actually born in Pennsylvania, grew up in South Florida on the west coast of Florida.
West Coast?
And and I always wanted to hunt, but the deer and the hunting in Florida is like hunting Labrador retrievers. They're pretty small. There's a lot of snakes.
You gotta be a good deer hunter to hunt deer down there. You gotta be committed.
It's fun, but just when I got to Tennessee, it was like awesome hunting up here, and I've always wanted to bow hunt, and I learned a lot from hunting with Andy Griggs a couple years. Was about 3 years. I was playing drums for him, and he grew up in Louisiana, and he just showed me how to read the woods and read deer sign and where to hang a stand, and so that first 2 years in Nashville, I was like going to whitetail school by hanging out and living behind Andy's house. And so that was a lot of fun. And so me and Andy would hunt together, and then I would go hunt with Jared, and we're like, oh, now we need to do this.
Yes. That definitely helped because I was very new at hunting whitetails.
We were both pretty green. And like the whole thing.
I killed my first deer at 15, and it was a doe. With a bow. I am proud that my first deer was with a bow. I think yours was too.
Yeah, mine was, and on film.
On film, yeah. Mine wasn't.
My dad happened to be My parents were in Nashville, and I was like, "We got this VCR camera, Dad. Why don't you come out and film with it?" And he was up in the stand, and I shot my first. It was a 6-point.
That's awesome.
Man, it was awesome, and I was hooked ever since then.
Well,
But yeah, I've toured. Being a drummer, I've toured with let's see, Andy Griggs. It started out. Then with this guy named George Canyon. From there, I was in a band called King Billy.
King Billy.
And we did that for about 5 years, and we toured all over. We were doing like 250 dates a year. We had a TV show on GAC, and
just Google King Billy and look up what all the guys from King Billy are doing now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Charlie Worsham was in the band. He went on to get a record deal, and then John Osborne, the brothers Osborne, and Matt Utterback plays for Hunter Hayes now, and so everyone has gone on to do other things, and Josh Matheny he's writing, and so is Donnie Fallgutter. But from that band, it kind of opened the door for other gigs. I started working with the Henningsons and Brett Eldridge and Dustin Lynch and just different people. And I've always enjoyed the opportunities that are in Nashville opposed to living in other parts of the country, because you can still like do other things and have at least a shot at getting those gigs, like than living in Florida. You're usually not going to get a call.
Yeah.
Like if you're not living in around Nashville.
Well, I think it's big too, because there's a lot of guys that, like, everybody thinks you got to give up your whole life to go out and chase your dream of being a musician, but there's a ton of guys that do other stuff and still play plenty, either to scratch that itch or make a partial income or even a full-time income. Like, there's guys that don't just play, but they still make time to tour and play in the studio or just play around town too. Like, I think that's big, and that's opportunities. You won't get the opportunity to go sub for Kelsey Ballerini if you live in Chattanooga. You know what I mean? Or if you live out in Montana somewhere. So you kind of have to be here to do that kind of thing. Same goes for like the rock and pop world, I guess. You kind of have to be in LA or you have to be in New York to get those opportunities. It's hard to do it anywhere else.
And also, New York and LA seems like it's more band driven.
Right.
Also.
So like,
you can go
do
an
as much
audition.
one-off stuff.
Yeah. There's more of like, you have the band, they're all doing the thing. But living in Nashville is the great thing is being deer hunters. There are deer everywhere.
My gosh, it's ridiculous here.
We don't want to like tell everybody because
it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible.
If you
hunting.
don't live here, don't ever come here and hunt. And even if you live here, you probably shouldn't hunt because it's awful.
Yeah. I need to retract that last statement.
Yeah, I know. No, the deer hunting here is, I mean, like, I came from South Mississippi, and I think it's gotten better there since I was a kid. But, I mean, if you saw a deer on a hunt, it was a big day. And we used to do.
Was that bad down
Yeah,
there?
we used to do dog drives. I mean, we'd go hunt. There's a Pascagoula River Reserve down there, and it's a big wildlife management area. And we used to run dogs down there and jump deer out of beds. And, I mean, literally, if I saw a deer in the morning, I was excited. And, you know, rarely would somebody kill one. Now it's gotten a lot better down there, as it has, you know, around a lot of the country. It's gotten too bad up north in a few places where they're, like, living in people's yards and they can't get rid of them. But Tennessee's a nice mix because, you know, we get a lot of deer, but you also get some quality bucks here, if that's your thing. I mean, the world record was just shot in Gallatin this year.
Which is insane.
It's just insane. 313 and 3/8 inches or something like that.
I think it's 312.
312?
312.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I mean, you would think that's
a whole
a Kansas
episode by itself.
Yeah, it's like a Kansas deer.
Yeah.
That was shot in Gallatin, which is 20 minutes north of Nashville.
Yeah.
So that means
You can see downtown Nashville from places of Gallatin.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
just said, and there's people that have been saying that there's some other bucks that were killed like by some kids with crossbows, like not in season. Yeah, that are in the area that are as big.
Geez, they just don't count
but they
because
can't.
they're illegal there. Wow.
Well, and it's illegal, and they shouldn't do that. We don't okay.
condone poaching.
Right.
But still a big deer.
There's some.
I mean, I'm not saying it's good.
No.
I'm just saying it's, and you can't deny it's a large
These could be
deer.
stories, though.
But they shouldn't get credit. You know?
Right. No.
We don't know for sure. Allegedly is the
Right.
key, is the operating word in there.
Exactly. But I don't know. I feel like the deer hunting has gotten better in Tennessee. Jared, go.
But I don't know where to take it.
What are your
from there.
thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts on the deer hunting? Yeah, I think it has gotten better. I think the opportunities are there. I am not Kevin and I are different people when it comes to deer hunting. Not to say that Kevin is a trophy hunter by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not, because that term has a negative connotation. But
where are you going with this?
Kevin will usually hold out for a larger buck just because you enjoy killing bigger deer. Mm-hmm. Me, on the other hand, I will shoot the first damn thing that walks under my stand, as long as it's not in spots.
Right.
And so, because I am strictly a meat hunter, which is why I've never killed anything bigger than like a small 6-point. It's because I don't let them go. Right. If they've got hair and it's legally a deer, it's going to die.
Well, here's the thing. I think your how picky you are in your deer stand goes up by the amount of time you have to spend in said deer stand.
That's true.
That's because fair. You only get to go out maybe once or twice a year.
I hunted once this year and I killed 2 deer. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So I can understand why you're a total meat hunter. Mm-hmm. And at first day of season, I'm a meat hunter.
That's true.
Yeah. Unless I got one on a trail cam that like I know he's going to come out.
Right.
But for opening day, I'm taking a doe.
Yeah,
first doe that's walking out,
nice and tender.
And honestly, this has been it's in the crock pot.
I'm just checking on.
Yeah, right.
Chili. Sorry,
that chili smells good.
It does. I'm getting distracted.
This has been a really good deer season. This has been one of my best, I think, that I've had, and just moved to College Grove, which is about a half hour south of Nashville. I've lived all over Nashville, started on Mount Juliet and Music Row and Brentwood, and then just moved from Bellevue, which is on the west side.
Which is where I live, yeah.
Jared's at, and which there's good hunting all over Nashville. Mm-hmm. And even in Davidson County, I wish we had some hookup in Davidson County.
That would be awesome.
Like a little 10-acre spot in Brentwood. Oh my gosh. That would be...
You got a story to tell about a buck at some point in time about a 10-acre spot in Brentwood that you shot.
Oh, well, that was kind of Briniac. A little bit rougher area, but it wasn't posted.
That's for another episode.
Okay. I don't know who owned the property, per se.
We'll cut that part out.
Okay.
But anyways, well, I think that's about a good introduction to us, how we kind of got started, who we are. If you haven't watched our videos, or if you don't know us, which if you're listening to this first episode, chances are you probably know us.
Right, yeah, because it's going to be all our friends and family, which you got to edit out the one cuss word because my mom's probably going to listen to this.
Damn it. Oh, I got to get it. All right, well, I think we'll call it quits there. Thanks for listening. Be on the lookout for another episode. Hopefully, if we don't listen back to this and decide it's just awful and burn the computer.
So, yeah, and it's not just going to be me and Jared the whole time, because I would get tired of listening to us, but we're going to interview, producers, writers, some country artists.
Yeah, some stuff will have nothing to do with hunting, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk to some musicians that maybe don't even hunt or are interested in it and don't know that much about it, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for listening, and hit that subscribe button and leave us some comments. Can you leave comments on...
No, but you can. Instagram at Double Trouble Hunting, YouTube.com/Double Trouble Hunting, Facebook.com/Double Trouble Hunting. You can find us.
Yes.
Yeah, follow us. We like to talk to everybody, and y'all have a good day, and we'll holler at you later. Come on, buddy.
All right. Peace out. Come on, buddy.